The former off-duty Bay Area pilot accused of trying to cut off the engines of Alaska Airlines jet mid-flight between Washington State and San Francisco has pleaded not guilty to 83 counts of second-degree attempted murder. Good evening, everybody. I'm Vicki Liviakis.
I'm Ken Wayne. We're learning more tonight about what went on during those tense minutes Sunday aboard that flight. Prosecutors say 44-year-old Alaska Airlines pilot Joseph Emerson was sitting in the jump seat behind the pilot in the cockpit when he began pulling at the handles of the plane's fire suppression system, which, if he had been successful, would have cut off the fuel to the plane's engines. Prosecutors say he has admitted to doing that, and he now faces both state and federal charges.
KRON 4's Dan Kerman joins us now live in the newsroom with the details on this. Dan.
Well, you know, the big question has been, how could someone like this do something like this? Court documents tell a story of a depressed man in crisis, grieving the death of a friend, also a man who only 48 hours earlier had taken magic mushrooms. Tuesday afternoon, Alaska Airlines pilot Joseph Emerson pleaded not guilty to 83 counts of second-degree attempted murder and 1 count of endangering an aircraft. The Pleasant Hill man was handcuffed during the brief court appearance.
Crisis making an emergency landing, ETA 4 minutes. The jump seat pilot, who is the extra pilot they give a ride, tried to shut down the engines. Their emergency landing 4 minutes out.
It was Sunday evening when Alaska Flight 2059 made an emergency landing in Portland, and off-duty pilot Joseph Emerson, who had been seated in the cockpit in a jump seat behind the actual pilot, was arrested. Following the incident, court documents say the 2 pilots told police Emerson threw his headset across the cockpit and said, "I'm not okay." Emerson then grabbed the emergency fire suppression handles and pulled them down. Had he been successful, pilots say this would have cut off fuel to the engines. But the pilots grabbed Emerson's wrists and wrestled with Emerson for a few seconds before Emerson stopped and said he was okay. Emerson then left the flight deck.
We've got the guy that tried to shut the engines down out of the cockpit.
In a police interview with flight attendants, they said once out of the cockpit, Emerson indicated he just lost his best friend and asked, when would this nightmare end? They told police while talking with Emerson, he turned to an emergency exit door and tried to grab the handle, but was stopped by a flight attendant. They then escorted him to the back galley of the aircraft and asked what they could do for him. Court documents indicate Emerson responded by clicking his wrists together and stated, "You need to cuff me right now or it's going to be bad." Emerson further stated he had messed everything up and tried to kill everybody. In an interview with police following his arrest, court documents say Emerson indicated he was in mental health crisis and had not slept in over 40 hours. He told police he did not feel okay while in the cockpit and felt the pilots were not paying attention and that something did not seem right. Police say Emerson admitted that he pulled both emergency shutoff handles because Emerson believed he was dreaming and wanted to wake up. Police say they then asked Emerson if Emerson tried to kill himself during the incident. Emerson did not answer the question. Court documents say Emerson admitted he struggled with depression for 6 years and that a friend had recently passed away. He told officers he had consumed magic mushrooms approximately 48 hours prior to the incident on the plane. Court documents say Emerson later admitted to police that he was in crisis and that he put 84 lives at risk that night, including his own. Now, these are state charges filed by the district attorney in Oregon. The U.S. Department of Justice has also filed federal charges against Emerson, 1 count of interfering with flight crew members and attendants. Emerson remains in jail in Portland pending his first appearance in federal court, which likely will take place in the next couple of days. Live in the newsroom, Dan Kerman, KRON 4 News.
Thank you, Dan. As Dan mentioned there, the pilot admitted to investigators that he suffered from depression. Commercial pilots, as you know, have to undergo hours of rigorous training.
But is there enough attention being paid to their mental health? KRON 4's Teresa Stasio reports.
I'm here in Pleasant Hill in front of Joseph Emerson's home. We are all trying to figure out exactly what happened to Emerson and what could be done to help him. I spoke with a commercial airline pilot, and she shared with me her thoughts. Laura Ensettler says that this case is very disturbing and unsettling. She says it is also rare because at the heart of a pilot's core belief is to protect passengers and make sure that they reach their destination safely. She says although this case reinforces the need to have two capable pilots in the cockpit to manage a situation, especially like this, she says it also brings into focus the importance of diving further into pilots' mental health and making sure that if there is a need, they get proper help and support.
As far as future going forward and things that we can do to kind of look at and implement, as I said, I would just say things that we need to better recognize and better support pilot mental health aspects. So I think what we're doing is working. We have very strict, very tight standards medically. It's just a matter of saying, hey, if you're struggling, as a pilot or any kind of a crew member, to seek help and to be able to support that pilot who is seeking the help that will be grounded for that time, but can still support their family while they're getting the help that they need.
And Settler also had this to share with me about those pilots who sit in a jump seat and whether the time is now to reevaluate that.
The people that are allowed in the jump seat are highly qualified, certified people. So as far as there's tens of thousands of pilots that position themselves to and from work each and every day to fly your trips. And so I think that it's not so much about, scrutinizing people in the jump seat as it is more about recognizing and helping support if there's pilot mental health issues.
Here in Pleasant Hill, Teresa Stasio, KRON 4 News.
We have much more on this story on our website, kron4.com. You can scan that QR code on your screen. It'll take you straight to our coverage.